and welcome to Weekend File on the Nigerian Television Authority. We are live in Abuja. Nigeria's health sector has never been so challenged as we see it today in the face of the global coronavirus pandemic. Same goes for most nations of the world as the pandemic spreads. There are, of course, incomprehensive breakthroughs in the search for a cure or vaccine on the global scene, even as medical personnel and other frontline workers battle day and night to save infected patients. While at it, patients with underlying ailments pose enormous challenge in the treatment process, being the most fragile and vulnerable. In fact, majority of COVID-19 deaths recorded so far in Nigeria has been as a result of complications arising from underlying ailments such as hypertension, diabetes, kidney disease, HIV, cancer, tuberculosis, and other health conditions. Moreover, most people infected with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate respiratory illness and recover without requiring special treatment, according to the World Health Organization, WHO. Also, older persons and those with underlying medical problems like cardiovascular and chronic respiratory diseases are more likely to develop serious illness when infected with the COVID-19. This group of medical patients agitates our minds at this period. What have been their experiences in trying to access health care services amidst the current huge challenge posed by COVID-19? What is the capacity of medical facilities across the country in handling the situation? These are questions begging for answers as our reporters examine the issues from across the zones and, of course, our guest tonight. Do stay with us on Weekend File as we look at management of other health challenges amidst COVID-19 in Nigeria. Our guest is the Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Ehanire. I am Kenen Ima Abodike. The news now. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed and his transportation counterpart Rotimi Amechi have inspected the Lagos-Ibadan Standard Gauge Rail project and have justified the federal government's borrowing to execute infrastructural projects across the country. Anthony Fulton reports.
The inspection began at the Abuja axis, where the ministers and railway officials took time to assess the yet-to-be-completed mega station, the biggest of the 9 passenger stations on this Lagos-Ibadan route, with a capacity to hold 6,000 passengers per hour. From there, the 2 ministers were joined by the MD, Nigerian Port Authority, Hadiza Bala Usman, to inspect the upper end of the rail track, which has been added to the project as an extension to help ease movement of cargo from Apapa Port, as well as the perennial gridlock associated with the port, which has remained motorist nightmare. Director, Rail Transport Services, Mohammed Babakobi, explained that the project has suffered some slowdown.
The project is supposed to have finished, but because of the outbreak of the pandemic, we've had to do extension of time. So rather than ending it in May, June, we are now looking at maybe December or early in the year, next year, to finish this project. The pandemic has really slowed us down because we have to reduce the number of workers to control them, to accommodate them for workspace distance. The numbers of workers reduced almost by 70–80%.
He explained that the Lagos-Ibadan train has the capacity to move 10 million tons of cargo from the Apapa port and will increase as the route extends with the Kaduna and Kano lines. In Ibadan, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Apo Abajenya, a community popularly known as Apo by Nepa Junction, has been demolished by the FCT Ministerial Tax Team on city sanitation. Shuaibu Onoze Yakubu reports that the exercise is to pave way for the construction of an interchange that will link the Oladipo-Dia Road with the Outer Southern Expressway, which is still ongoing.
Residents of Apu Nepa community in Amak woke up to the shock of their lives when the bulldozers of the Development Control Department stormed the indigenous community early Saturday morning and demolished over 100 houses in the area. Director of the Development Control Department, Mukhtar Galadima, explained that the community was earlier marked for demolition in January this year, and the FCT administration, through its relevant agencies, had interfaced with the inhabitants of the settlement on the need for them to vacate the area, which falls under the corridor of the planned Outer and Southern Expressway (OSEX).
January this year, we remarked again, sensitizing that they were coming for this operation.
He did this in line with the dreams of the founding fathers and the need for the FCT authorities to as well carry the indigenous people along. That was why they were fully compensated and additional requirements made were also met.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Director Planning and Resettlement in the Resettlement and Compensation Department, Nasiru Suleiman, disclosed that 131 houses and 169 plots were given as compensation to members of the affected indigenous community.
Those people that are entitled for houses, we gave them houses. Those that are entitled for plot, we give them plot.
Despite the resistance we encountered, security personnel stand their ground to ensure that the exercise meet the desired objectives.
However, no casualty was recorded during the demolition exercise as team of security personnel were on ground to ensure the protection of lives and property of the people. Shuaibu Onozeaku, NTA News.
On the first day of August, a fire razed two buildings that housed textile shops at the Motion area of Lagos. Although no life was lost, property and businesses worth millions of naira were destroyed by the inferno. Diana Ajale, who visited the scene 2 weeks after, reports that business activities are yet to recommence.
This empty land, number 16 Ladikpo Street, once housed a story building and a bungalow and was home to a thriving fabrics business. Well, that history was halted by the fire outbreak.
Since then, all of us were frustrated. There's nowhere for we to go. Plus our goods that burnt here. We are calling the owners of the house. What is the next line of action? Up to this moment, we have not gotten any result here. The local government chairman came. He saw the whole thing. Even the state government sent their own people to present them. They came here, they saw the whole thing. But we are hoping that they will come to our aid.
Michael Ifeanyi, a textile and upholstery dealer, is one of the many business owners who are still grieving over their losses. According to him, life has been difficult while the fire has left him stranded.
You can see, that's what to do with this backup. So we can stay and be managing it too, so that they'll be able to put this place in order.
Pledges of assistance have been made from many quarters. As the victims await the fulfillment of these promises, they continue to look inwards to enable them start from another humble beginning. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Let's talk security now. The investigative panel set up by the Nigerian Army to verify the alleged involvement of troops of 19th Brigade in farming and fishing activities at Baga Town in Kukawa local government area, Borno State, says the claim still remains untrue. The panel, headed by the Deputy Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Felix Omugi, made 8 findings known to newsmen in a world press briefing held at the Military Command and Control Center in Maiduguri. Jadua John Jesseni reports.
Allegations leveled against the troops.
The Deputy Theatre Commander, Major General Felix Omugui, told journalists that the findings revealed that Baga Town in Kukawa local government area of Borno State, which has had its fair share of the Boko Haram insurgency since 2013, is yet to return to its original self, as presence of civilians keeps fluctuating in the area from time to time. He went on that the allegations levied against troops of 19th Brigade Baga remains falsehood, as there are no evidence of farming, cattle rearing or fishing activities in the area.
The entire area of Baga is too heavily mined with improvised explosive devices to have allowed for any farming activities.
He also cleared the air on the trailer misconceived to be loaded with fish in Baga town.
Some of the trucks seen in Baga town were observed to be loaded with scrapped metals. Troops of Operation Lafia Dole will remain committed and undeterred in the fight against terrorism.
The Nigerian Army says efforts are still in place to clear and make displaced communities safe and secured for the return of civilians. In Maiduguri, Jadua John Jesini, NTA News.
The Nigerian military says the air component of Operation Thunderstrike has neutralized several armed bandits at their camp in the Kuduru Forest area of Kaduna State. A statement released by the Directorate of Defense Media Operations (DMO) indicates that this was achieved through airstrikes carried out on 13 August 2020 after credible intelligence reports and subsequent aerial surveillance confirmed the convergence of weapon-wielding members of an Ansaru terrorist sect-linked bandits group led by one Malam Abara at the location. Nigerian Air Force jets and helicopter gunships were therefore tasked to attack the location. Several of the bandits were killed as their attack aircraft strafed the area, while others attempting to escape were mopped up in follow-on attacks. Now to politics, where the All Progressives Congress has inaugurated its Ondo Governorship Campaign Council. Chairman of the Caretaker and Extraordinary National Convention Committee, May Malabuni, has urged party faithful not to engage in unhealthy activities before, during and after the governorship election in Ondo State. Saliku Abdullahi reports.
Renewing the successes of APC in the forthcoming governorship elections in Edo and Ondo State and expanding its scope are top on the agenda of the Mai Malabuni-led Caretaker Committee. This he re-emphasized while inaugurating the 104-member campaign council for the October 10th governorship election in Ondo State, led by the Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He says the campaign team has one agenda.
I have no doubt in my mind that the rich cream of personalities on this council with vast electioneering experience will once again secure the mandate of the people of Ondo State for the party and its candidates. Let me use this occasion to ensure the good people of Ondo State that your investment in the party in this election will consolidate the achievements recorded in the last 4 years.
Chairman of the campaign council is aware of this task and expressed confidence that with the collective support of all, APC will succeed in Ondo State.
The party's confidence is further buoyed by the giant stride that Governor Akeredolu in different areas of Edo has enumerated.
The party urged its members to engage in fruitful, peaceful and healthy campaigns. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Bayelsa State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja has affirmed the election of Doye Diri as the governor of Bayelsa State and that of his deputy, Lawrence Erujabo, in the November 2019 governorship election. The three-man panel, led by Justice Owoduni, dismissed the three petitions filed by the Alliance for Democracy, United People's Congress, and the Liberation Movement for lacking merit. The panel ruled that the petitioners failed to prove the allegations of false declaration of age and forged National Youth Service Code discharge certificate leveled against the deputy governor.
You know, because of the judiciary, the politicians would have since destroyed this country. How can somebody who had 38 votes, when the next person had 700 and something, come to an election tribunal?
These are frivolous cases that even brings to the fore this issue of having multiple parties participating in election. And this is an area that both the courts and the legislature must have to look at.
The tribunal is expected to deliver its judgment on the remaining two petitions on Monday, the 17th of this month. Governor Aminu Masari has flagged off the distribution of COVID-19 palliatives to vulnerable households in the 34 local government areas of the state. Awal Haliru reports that the assorted items were donated by Coalition Against Coronavirus Pandemic.
The ravaging nature of coronavirus pandemic on the economy and social well-being of the people called for unprecedented support and cooperation to the government by the private sector coalition to address the negative effects of COVID-19. The assorted food relief items will be distributed to more than 67,000 vulnerable households selected from across the 34 local government areas of the state. Governor Aminu Bello Masari expressed appreciation for the donation, saying that the state government has put in place effective measures to curtail the spread of COVID-19 in the state. He said plans have been made for the effective distribution of the palliatives to the beneficiaries.
The effect of coronavirus, COVID-19 in Nigeria, by providing relief programs to most vulnerable households in the country.
Implementation committee with membership drawn from various sectors is to monitor the distribution of the relief items, which include maize, noodles, sugar, among others. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
Global coronavirus cases topped 21 million with more than 764,000 deaths, according to Johns Hopkins University data. Uche Ugachukwu is here with the updates of the pandemic around the world.
Global tally from Johns Hopkins University Coronavirus Resource Center indicates that as of 6 p.m. local time, the world has confirmed 21,452,972 cases of coronavirus, out of which 765,238 persons lost their lives to the disease. Thousands of holidaymakers have rushed back to the UK from France in a bid to avoid the new quarantine measures after France reported 2,846 new cases in 24 hours on Friday. Meanwhile, the UK government says another 1,012 people have tested positive for coronavirus over the last 24 hours. Saturday is the 5th day in a row that more than 1,000 cases have been recorded in the country. Vietnam, which had not witnessed a single COVID-19 fatality until the end of July, has recorded 2 more deaths, bringing its total fatality to 23. It also reported 21 new infections. Iraqi health authorities have confirmed more 4,293 coronavirus infections in the country, the biggest rise in new cases since the pandemic began. 76 fatalities were also recorded. In another development, the chairman of Ireland's Tourism Authority formally resigned on Saturday after going on holiday to Italy, contrary to government advice to avoid non-essential travel abroad. Turning attention to Africa, the Continent Center for Disease Control logged positive coronavirus cases total figure as 1,102,815, and the coronavirus dashboard of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control shows the country now has 48,445 confirmed cases. 35,998 patients have been discharged, while 973 died. However, 329 new cases were recorded on Friday. That's it from here. I am Uche Ugachukwu.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari warmly felicitates with former chairman of Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Sam Ohuabunwa, on his 70th birthday. The president joins friends and family members to celebrate the visionary leader, saying his competence and influence have greatly impacted on the Nigerian economy and beyond. President Buhari affirms that the recognitions and awards given to the entrepreneur over the years, home and abroad, are well-deserved, and prays that the Almighty God will greatly increase his wisdom and bless his family. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has sent warm wishes to Kingsley Osayande Osadolo, a journalist, lawyer, and administrator, on his 60th birthday. The president joins the media and the legal profession to celebrate the renowned television host and one-time commissioner, whom he describes as one of the very best in his profession. President Buhari urges Osadolo to continue to use his divine endowment for the good of society and the country, saying Nigeria will always find his contributions germane to national development. A statement by presidential media advisor Femi Adesina wishes Osadolo, a fellow of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, good health, long life and all-round prosperity. Time now for our first break. Our topic tonight is management of other health challenges amidst the coronavirus pandemic. We will take some reports after the break and then engage our guest, Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Ehanire, who is waiting to talk to us. Don't go away.
The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipri Silva, and the management of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, wish to express profound appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for performing the virtual commissioning of the 17-story Nigerian Content Tower with the accompanying facilities in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. We also thank the former President Goodluck Jonathan, the Senate President Dr. Ahmed Lawan, and his deputy Ovie Omo Agege, the Executive Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Doyediri, GMD NNPC Mr. Meli Kiare, ministers and heads of oil companies and government agencies for participating in the event physically and via Zoom. We remain committed to delivering Mr. President's mandate for the oil and gas industry and deepening local content performance in Nigeria. NCDMB, building local capacities in the Nigerian oil and gas industry. Signed, Engineer Simbi Kesie Wabote, Executive Secretary, NCDMB.
Every year, new sets of graduates are released into Nigeria's oversaturated job market. This includes graduates like myself who studied abroad. As my service year runs out, I ponder, how well equipped and prepared are we to successfully compete in a market with limited options? Do I join the more than 1.7 million of unemployed and underemployed graduates in Nigeria who are either searching for a job or looking to start their own business? Or do I return and add to the over 1.2 million Nigerian migrants in diaspora who left the shores of our country in search of a better life? My name is Sharon Asebi, and this is my story of being a graduate in Nigeria.
Just getting the ball and a shot call for there. Oh! You need to recharge your DSTV or GoTV subscription easily, but our office dey far small. You fit use our app to recharge or fix errors. No wahala. Or if you like one-on-one service, our Sabi Men agents full brand. Them be certified field service agents. We fit help you with any gbege. Sabi Men dey for you. If you want recharge your subscription and sharply activate your account, them fit help you resolve any technical challenge or customer inquiry. How you go take know them? Now with them Sabi Man jacket, branded face cap and backseat box machine with them hold. Now so you go Sabi our Sabi Men for your area. So whether na my DSTV app, my GoTV app or Sabi Men within your area, make sure say you continue to enjoy world-class quality entertainment anytime at your convenience. We dey your side.
ICPC and NTA say you can help Nigeria to flatten the curve on COVID-19, just as you can help flatten the curve on corruption. Follow transparency, accountability, and integrity just as you follow health guidelines. Stay home with integrity and maintain your distance from corruption, just as you stay away from COVID-19 by maintaining social distance. Report every act of corruption to ICPC just as you report COVID-19 to NCDC. Stay away from corruption, stay safe from COVID-19. Report any act of corruption to ICPC on toll toll-free number 0800-2255-4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
Thank you for staying with us. Constant provision of personal protective equipment, PPE, by both the federal and state governments has helped to surmount what experts say would have been a major challenge in ensuring that patients with health challenges other than COVID-19 receive adequate medical care in Abia State. A former Nduokolie reports.
The Abia State capital, aggressive sensitization and enlightenment campaigns by relevant authorities on COVID-19 guidelines and protocols have helped to reduce the anxiety and fear surrounding COVID-19 infections. The number of both in and out patients have continued to increase in both private and government-owned health facilities in the state.
It's only those who are not well informed that discourage people from going to hospital. The best thing is to go to hospital because that's how you get care.
Before I used to attend the hospital. Now I pray I won't fall sick to take me to hospital because of what is in the mood now.
Medical Director of Federal Medical Center, Umuahia, Dr. Azubike Onyebuchi, while speaking on their challenges, noted that the community testing embarked upon by the Abia State government has helped in reducing the number of patients seeking medical attention in hospitals.
We've been treating all different manner of ailments, irrespective of the COVID threat, because we have established a good system that helps us to triage fast and try to get our results as fast as we can.
The telehealth initiative of the Abia State government, which enable people access Medicare from their homes, experts say, has also helped in reducing the influx of patients in hospitals, thereby making it easier for health workers to effectively discharge their duties. Experts maintain that early detection remains the key for addressing health issues and encourage patients to always seek medical attention to address health-related issues. In Umuahia, Ifeoma Nduokolie, NTA News.
The advent of coronavirus pandemic no doubt has brought undue pressure on the health sector. To this end, there have been tales of hospitals rejecting patients with underlying ailments. This has prompted Austin Edomodu to examine whether such situation exists in Delta State and the remedies.
Are scared of treating, cases. There's so many cases, but they are scared, probably because of the COVID.
Some persons in the course of seeking medical help during the pandemic might have fallen victims of similar situation. A specialist in family medicine, Dr. Ifeanyi Ajufo, is however quick to jump to the defense of the medical practitioners, suggesting all have changed now.
People that have symptoms that looked like COVID were turned away. We won't blame the practitioners because, again, you see, if you are not equipped, if you are not well protected, it is not advisable to get yourself exposed to such dangers.
With more awareness campaign, protective and treatment measures in place, it is now an established fact that COVID-19 is not a death sentence. However, there are categories of persons, especially the elderly ones, with underlying ailments who might not be risk being exposed in the hospital.
First of all, we encourage that the ones that don't have any active or that are not very sick, they should remain at home and try as much as possible to, if they have underlying conditions like hypertension, diabetes, they should be more compliant with their drugs. This is not the time that they come around to cluster the place.
It It is evident that in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, hospitals are open to all persons in Delta State, irrespective of the sickness, but not without precautions. There are suggestions, however, that equal attention should be given to some other deadly diseases, while at the same time taming the monster COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Ehanire, let me welcome you to Weekend File. Thank you for always finding time to join us despite your busy schedule. It's always a pleasure to have you.
A great opportunity to connect with Nigerians.
Well, observers are of the view that one of the serious challenges the coronavirus pandemic has brought to the sector is access being denied to various categories of patients, especially those with life-threatening ailments. As a medical practitioner and above all Nigeria's Minister of Health, how do you react to that view?
A lot of fear, a lot of scare at the time that coronavirus broke out. The demand side, that people normally who would have gone to the hospital for an ailment did not go, and also the supply side, that those who provide health care were terrified to go to the health facilities, led to a decline in provision of services. But that has since been largely remedied. We have sent out teams to meet with healthcare providers in hospitals. We have given instructions to all federal government-owned hospitals. And we have also had 2 meetings so far with the Commissioners of Health and National Council on Health. I've also emphasized that in my meetings with the governors at the NEC and also at the Governors Forum. So the situation is improving. We are able to now encourage people to go to the hospital when they have a problem. We do not want other ailments to suffer, and also at the same time not lose sight of treatment of those who actually have COVID infection. We have provided PPEs and training, and above all confidence building. And also giving instructions in a meeting I had with the Honourable Minister of Federal Capital Territory recently, giving instructions for all hospitals to attend to every person who comes around and to have a holding room, to have a place to keep the patients who they strongly suspect of being COVID positive. So measures are being taken to make sure that the gaps there are well addressed, and the reports I have now is that we are making good progress in that regard.
Well, it's interesting to know that the ministry and indeed the government is doing quite a lot in that regard. But that takes me to the issue of stigmatization. How does that affect the entire scenario? Stigmatization of those infected with COVID-19 in our society.
Is based out of fear. There are people who are very worried because they do not understand the mode of transmission of the COVID disease. We have made it very clear that wearing a mask, just as I'm doing now, is the #1 factor, and also social distancing and washing your hands regularly. But once you are cured of the disease, you are not in a position to transmit it, and there is no need for stigma to arise in the neighborhood or in the family. But the fear that has gone around and the focus also that has gone around the COVID-19 ailment is the source of the stigmatization, and the persons who have in fact tested positive and who refuse to go for treatment are doing so at their own risk. We have urged all those who have underlying ailments and those who are above 60 years old to ensure that they report themselves for treatment. There will be no stigmatization if you go to the care facility that is designated for treatment of COVID-19. So the question of building stigma is getting less now because of a better understanding and better attention being provided in more hospitals and more treatment facilities in the country.
Well, the pandemic is still very much with us as a nation, in fact, still spreading. And it appears a lot of people still don't understand what the virus is all about. What are you doing at the moment, apart from the intermittent briefings, to ensure that people get, come in terms or to terms with these deadly virus?
All opportunities to educate the public. As you have seen now, I have used this opportunity to address all those who are listening that they have to follow the rules and the guidelines that are provided by government and healthcare providers. We have engaged community leaders and political leaders also. We have appeared at the National Assembly and urged politicians and governors and senators and members of the House to sensitize their communities and their political bases. We have also engaged different news channels, NTA and channels and other providers, newspapers, to spread the message, and we are going on a program now with the aim of going down to the grassroots and meeting the village leaders and the gatekeepers of the communities to add their voices to the campaign to understand that this virus can be defeated if we all follow the rules. The behavior of the virus is becoming clearer and clearer by the day, and the advice that is being given to the public follows what we know about the virus and its power of transmission. It's a virus that is very easily and very quickly transmitted, and the only way to do it, to deal with it, is to understand the channels and not expose yourself to the easy means of becoming infected by COVID-19.
Now, for the tertiary healthcare providers, where of course some of these stories do emanate from, are there any monitoring or evaluation that happens between the ministry and those providers, to keep tabs on some of the negativities we keep hearing every now and then about patients with life-threatening ailments?
Every hospital has an intensive care unit, and all the hospitals that are federal government owned are constantly being monitored by the Department of Hospital Services at the Federal Ministry of Health. We also hold regular conferences with the medical directors and the chief medical directors, and even the specialty hospitals, the psychiatric hospitals, orthopedic hospitals are in one way or the other involved in the fight against COVID-19. The severity of COVID, as you all know, and as we have mentioned this evening, particularly affects those with underlying ailments, diabetes, asthma, hypertension, cancer, HIV, and so on. And those who are kept, the ones we call the vulnerable, who should particularly take care of themselves. But once they arrive in hospital, we have enough ICU beds at the moment, and we have also realized that the major complication is due to lack of oxygen, and oxygen supplementation due to oxygen generators is what we need more than ventilators. But so far we are doing quite well. The case fatality rate is about 2% in Nigeria, which is about half of what obtains globally. So we are planning and doing everything we can to reduce that case fatality rate to less than 1%. The strategy towards that is what we have been working out on in the response action plan of the Federal Ministry of Health.
Right, Honorable Minister, we will pause for a break here for another break on Weekend File. We'll be back to talk more, and do stay with us.
We keep it moving. We going straight to the top, like in a nine. We tell them haters, this is war. Slowing down or making a stop. We waiting to drop. Do us a favor.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Going straight to the top, like in a nine. We tell them haters.
To see this. I'm the boss.
Never slowing down or making a stop. We waiting to drop. Do us a favor. We keep it moving.
She cries. She cries in anguish and in pain. She bears the scourge of her grief. She toils in vain for justice and succumbs to silence. He gloats over his malady. Like a beast, he pounces with no remorse. Her cry means nothing. Her pain feeds her shame. Like an orphan, she's left to grieve in solitude. But no more will she cry in vain. adversaries will henceforth bear the brunt of their cruelty. Rape is evil. Rape is a plague, a pandemic of monumental consequences. We must unite and kick it out of our society.
Connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Welcome back. As the global community grapples with COVID-19 pandemic, Nigerians with other ailments have applauded medical personnel for staying true to their Hippocratic oath by not neglecting their care and treatment. Tayo, showing this report, examines the experiences of patients with other ailments in Ekiti State and their access to health care.
A medical emergency tops global agenda as it continues to infect many, with some succumbing to the virus. Despite the worldwide attention accorded to the pandemic, members of the public are still not spared from grappling with other ailments, which could also be life-threatening. Daira Ajiboye is a senior citizen who travels over an hour to Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital at Ekiti Exut for his routine medical checkup, not minding the fear and caution the coronavirus have instilled in many. Ajiboye and other patients like him, however, commended the management and staff of the hospital for the services provided.
They treat me well. I'm okay.
For me, it seems that nothing has changed. I mean negatively. The way they have been treating us is the way they attended to me today.
The Chief Medical Director, Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital at Ekiti, Professor Kayode Olabanji, says the hospital is running as usual with personal protective equipment provided for safety of medical and health workers in the hospital.
All along, we offer both the emergency treatments for adults, for children, for the obstetrics patients, at least pregnant women, and all our services are running.
Ekiti State has about 200 cases of COVID-19 in Ado-Ekiti. Tayo Osho, NTA News.
While Nigerians join the global community to fight COVID-19, people living with other life-threatening ailments in Gombe State appear to have found